je werd divan. Just to know, je werd divan. Just to know, je werd divan. Je werd divan. Je werd divan.
Hello, and welcome to the Awakened Winners podcast. I am your host, Lloyd Love. I'm super excited to introduce my guest today, Raira. I'm just going to share your bio, and then I'm excited to hear your story, Raira. Thank you for being here.
Awesome, Blossom. Well, thank you for not only inviting me, but for just having this show to begin with. The world needs more light sharers and givers like you and Nico and everything like that. So I say and I sign. Thank you, Loida.
Thank you. You're so awesome.
Blossom.
So, Lynne Farrell, correct?
Yeah.
33 years old, just keeps swimming, blossoming, multimedia local personality, active within within her local community as a lion, and also reader of the word at church, survivor of traumatic brain injury. So she's very involved with, is it BIA or BIA?
BIA, MA, Brain Injury Association of Massachusetts.
Yeah. As a speaker, advocate, and volunteer. Thank you for being here. And I would love for you to start and share about your brain injury and how that occurred, what has developed within you, and how you've chosen to move forward.
Amen.
And what happened.
Amen. Well, again, Loida, I would like to say and sign thank you, not only for inviting me for this episode of your Awesome Blossom show, but also just for being your warm, genuine spirit and soul. And so I'll jump right in to I'll give you and our audience as I say, the Cliff Notes version of my story. So I just celebrated my 14th alive day. So 14 years ago, I sustained a severe traumatic brain injury while performing with my collegiate cheerleading team. I was one of the bases, so one of the beasts on the bottom side of the stunt, hoisting up our flyer in the air, and Chicky fell out of our stunt, out of the sky, basically, and struck me. And as I was down on the mat, I was approached by our coach, who told me to get back up and stop making such a scene. So I did that, continued to bounce around, jump, stunt, dance, everything like that. And a short time later, I collapsed and did not regain consciousness. Shortly thereafter, the paramedics arrived on scene, and I had to be intubated right there on the mat. And I was rushed to the local hospital. I was in the intensive care unit for 1 month, 2 weeks of which I was in a medically induced coma. It was the day after my 19th birthday, and also my mama bear's birthday, because she and I share our birthday. I feel very blessed to share that special day with my mama. So on May 1st, again, the day after my 19th birthday, I started responding to minimal commands out of my coma. And then 2 weeks after that, I was moved to Spalding Rehab Hospital in Boston to begin my many weeks and months of inpatient rehab, speech, occupational therapy, physical therapy, basically relearning all the things that each of us learn as toddlers and kiddos. Brushing my teeth, washing my hands, tying my shoes for physical and occupational. And then speech therapy, the main emphasis and focus was on my completely non-existent short-term memory, which, of course, as you know, Loida, you're a smart cookie and you know all about the mind and everything like that. That played into everything else. short-term memory issues played into my planning, organization, even some of my speaking and talking habits. So that was a long journey, and I spent 11 weeks there, and then I was transferred to the final step of my inpatient rehab up at Crotchet Mountain Rehab Center in New Hampshire, and spent 8 weeks there. And then I moved home to Hopedale, Mass, to move back in with my mom and dad. I didn't get to go back to college right away, but then I returned a year, the following year, and I graduated only 1 year behind. Same degree, everything. So take that, TBI.
Take that.
Yeah.
Wow.
We can write a rap about that, Loida. I want to collaborate with you and Nico.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Amen, Sister Fran.
This story, I do want to say, like, one of the things that caught me was the moment that you fell and that your coach assumed, right, that you were making a big fuss out of nothing.
Yeah.
And although that this wouldn't change it, but I hope he did or she did apologize to you.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, either way, it's just crazy because one of the things, and I think that this is a good way to segue into the our conversation, is the assumptions people make, right? One of my podcast conversations was with a man by the name of Keith Jones, and he was an incredible human being. He was born with cerebral palsy. He's a public speaker. He's been married. He has children. And what we chose to name his conversation was Beyond the Cover.
Yeah.
Because often with him, right, people would assume things about him that weren't true. Like, he doesn't have a life, right?
Right.
He doesn't have any children. He's never been married. But all of those assumptions were not true.
So false. Yeah.
Right. And
Dead wrong.
Right. So even the assumption with you, right, that you were making something up rather than investigating, trying to find out, are you okay? Like, genuinely, I don't, like, nobody knows.
Right.
I did also want to mention, one of my sisters had a brain injury, and she has short-term memory loss as well. And I remember a moment in time where she asked me to go to the tattoo parlor with her.
Yeah.
And she went in first, and this was after her brain injury.
Yeah.
She went in first, and I was in the car finishing something to eat, and then I went in. And when I went in, I heard the tattoo artist and my sister going back and forth about what tattoo she's getting and what time was her appointment. So he's like, "But what tattoo are you getting?" And my little sister's like, "I don't remember."
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, "But what time was your appointment?" And she's like,
I don't know. I can't remember. Yeah.
So going back and forth, and he's getting aggravated, right? Like, he's like, "What the heck? You're in my shop. You don't know you're the time,
like, bro,
right?
Like, pipe down, bro."
Well, right. And so then he starts getting a little aggressive. And I said, "Don't speak to my sister like that."
Amen.
And my sister starts crying and says, I have short-term memory loss. For me, in that moment, I could feel compassion for both sides.
Right.
Because there's a worker getting a customer that doesn't know anything. It's oblivious to the appointment, oblivious to what she's gonna get. Like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah. And like, if I could just jump in real quick there. Absolutely. The biggest thing, or the biggest I don't want to say nickname, but what brain injury is called, it's called the invisible injury. Because looking at me and listening to me speak, watching me walk, I don't have to use any like canes or walkers. I'm speaking, there's no stutter, there's no delay. You can't see that I had a brain injury. Like, if I was had injured my back or something, and I had to be in a wheelchair, was using a walker or any other device. So that has been the past the other week, a little over a week ago, I celebrated my 14th alive day, 14 years since my TBI. And that has been one of the biggest obstacles to overcome and hurdles to leap over is that you look fine. Why is this harder for you? Why is it taking so long? Why can't you remember? And my TBI tribe, which I've gained a lot of, not just friends, but family members throughout these 14 years, my TBI tribe. And you know this from your own personal experience, and until you're in it, you don't get it.
Yeah.
And that's like, and I know you live your life this way too, Lorda. That's why it's so not just important, but it's necessary that we approach every day. We go into every day and we approach each and every human being and situation with an open heart and an open mind. And we don't make assumptions about anyone or anything.
Yeah. And then what I was going to say about what happened in the tattoo part was also getting to see the vulnerability that it takes to be honest. Like when you can't see somebody's struggle, that the person could share their struggle and say, hey, I have.
Listen up. Just so you know.
Yes.
Len you in the loop there. Yeah.
Yes. Because some people don't want to share certain things, but when it's invisible, it's hard for anybody to understand. And understand you. And if you want to be understood and heard and seen, then there has to be a vulnerability aspect to the conversation.
Absolutely. Amen. On all accounts. You hit all those points, like hammered all those points, Loida. Love. Thank you to say and sign.
I'm like a little dance.
I call that the white girl dance.
Hey.
Being a loud and proud white girl myself.
So I know that you've been doing so many things. Like you're just magical.
Thank you.
And so I want you to speak a little bit about your struggles with short-term memory loss on a day-to-day basis. And what have you created since? But let's start with what are the struggles?
Well, the struggles are they're every day, but it depends on the days. Like, it's anything as simple as like I forgot to take a certain a medicine, like one of my medications, which I'm not on too many at all, but I mean, you know this, being a mama bear and everything like that. You forget one, it can be like a one and done. But it can be anything from as simple and little and minuscule as that to just I don't know, just interactions with other people, like how you were telling about your cousin, like what am I?
Like it's even hard right now. Like
yes, to vocalize it. And I'm quite the wordy woman. I am never at a loss for words. And
so perfect.
This is rendering me speechless.
Yeah, and I think that it's perfect because like whoever's watching is getting to see your struggle and how challenging it must be, right? To think, okay, I was asked this question, but and I'm starting to talk about it, but now
where'd I go?
it's wiped out. Like I
Yeah.
don't even see it anymore. I don't know where it
Yeah.
went. I don't know even what was what was the
Yeah.
question? What was I
Like,
responding
what are
to?
we talking about? What? Come again?
And I could relate in some sorts because although I haven't had a brain injury,
Right.
sometimes my memory,
Yeah.
right, like, and I think it happens to most people.
Yeah.
Like you go to the kitchen and all of a sudden it's like, what was I
What did
coming?
I come here for? Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And
Absolutely.
sometimes depending if I have so much in my brain,
Yeah.
there's a mess everywhere. I don't even know where to start. Like
Right.
what?
You said it. You said it, sister. Preach,
So
Peach.
it's it's relatable. Like if people get really vulnerable, we can relate to like feeling that
Thank
struggle,
you.
but not to the same extent, right? Like I remember just
Mhm.
a few podcast conversations ago, I interviewed another woman that had a brain injury,
Yeah.
coincidentally, and she was sharing that for her brain
Mhm.
injury, she would after her brain injury, she would go take a shower, and
Yep.
her mother would knock on the door after an hour,
You okay in there? Yeah.
and like she didn't even know she was in there for an
Yeah.
hour.
Yep.
And then realizing that what would occur for her is that she would shampoo her hair
Yeah.
and forget that she shampooed it.
So she had to go back, so she couldn't move on to the up.
She kept shampooing her hair.
Yeah.
And she created something to help her memory.
Yeah.
So she would once she would shampoo her hair, she would put the
Move
shampoo
it.
on the other side. So she knew it was like, okay, not done, done.
Strategies. Yeah.
Done.
And
Like
coping mechanisms too. Like
right.
anybody and everybody, brain injured or not, or whatever your something is, I think that's all totes relatable, Peach.
Yes.
And Shirley Temple. Thank you.
So what I was asking you is
Yeah.
what are your struggles, and you decided to show me,
Yeah.
and I appreciate you showing me and you
Well,
showing
thank
the
you.
audience.
Thank
And
you,
so
Loretta.
you're welcome. And so from here, I would love to know what has opened up for you. Yeah, what are you creating in your world?
Okay, well, we're gonna go. I'll take us back in time, back to it was 2016, and my brain injury gave me the gift of mindfulness and meditation and yoga and being in touch with my inner, with my all my chakras and everything like that. Because before my TBI, I was go go go. Like I may have sustained this awful injury cheerleading, but all throughout my life, I was a soccer player. My coach's name, not even her nickname for me, but my coach's name for me was Beast. So very aggressive, very like do or die, everything like that. And so I would use like yoga as a stretch after an intense practice, or to warm up before getting out on the field to kick some, not just kick a soccer ball, but kick some butt on the field. And this the blessings through the bullshit of my TBI is blessings through the bullshit is another Ryanism that I just shared with you and your fantabulous audience. So where I go from here is I'm creating, I'm crafting, I'm manifesting the and realizing that even with all the scary, bad, like negative things going on in the world, especially right now, there's far more good and positivity, and we just need to be even brighter lighthouses and beacons.
Yes, and you're doing that. You're doing that from your show.
Thank you.
And you're doing that simply being who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking to someone?
No, nope.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I'm curious, does that happen for you? Like, when you're still and quiet, do you speak to yourself a bit?
Yeah, I do. I have a check-in, like head, a noggin to tippy toes. Like I do my own type of like body scans.
Oh,
And
and were you doing that right now?
yeah.
Okay,
Thank
okay.
you.
You're welcome.
Sorry, and I'm thank you, and I'm sorry.
You don't need to be sorry. I just like
Yeah.
genuinely curious,
Yeah.
and because like I said, it's like if we don't know something, we can be curious, and it's up to the person to respond or
Right.
not.
Amen.
Somebody posted recently, like I have a Instagram page called I
Yeah.
Rep Down Syndrome, and all I follow there is people that are differently abled or parents that have children with Down syndrome and stuff. And so particular parent put, if a child went up to you asking about your child, would you respond, and or would you not want to? And some people said that they might not want to. It's like specifically a person that is differently able said, sometimes I don't want to. And I put, and it's not, there's no right or wrong, right? Like
Of course.
right for somebody. For me, it's like depending on how the question's coming on, I would want to respond to the question because it's a child, and if they're not aware of it, we're not making them aware, then they're just going to be afraid. Right? Because most everybody's fear is the fear of the unknown, and until
the unknown, exactly.
The unknown known, then the fear is going to sit rather
and
than
especially sorry to interrupt, but especially with children. I mean, I don't have the only child I have is my fur baby, Dory Blue. And I'll send you a few videos of her later, of her sweet little psycho self later if you want to include. But kiddos, they're the most beautifully innocent members of any society, any community. And if you don't nurture their intrigue, they're just going to become like assumers, and they won't even let their minds stretch to figure out more, or to be a carer and sharer and contributing member of whichever community they find themselves in.
Right. So I appreciate you sharing about the check-in. Because if I didn't know you and you were just doing that, I'd be like, what is happening?
You're like, hey girl, hey.
Not me in particular, because I'm in a place where it's just like there's a guy that lives around here that stops in the corner and screams at the air all the time. And I'm like, it is what it is. Like, I don't know what occurred from him. I wrote about him in my book. And I wrote about actually, now that I mentioned my book, because everything happens in the perfect space. I just grabbed my book and I wanted to share it. I share it at every podcast.
Oh, yes, I need an autograph copy of that, Loida. I'm going to need an autograph copy of that from both you and Nico.
The Awakened
Winners.
We already,
don't you know, we already won.
And this is my beautiful son, my boo.
He's such a light.
One of the things I wrote about in the book about the guy is really how, some people will perceive this guy as crazy, right? He might not be all present. But for me, it was also seeing an opportunity for how I, as an individual, can project that someone's crazy when I do that all the time when I'm feeling at another person, because we're always projecting.
You said it.
And so if I'm projecting at another person and I'm screaming and I've lost my shit, right? I'm crazy, right? Rather than like, what is this bringing up in me?
Amen.
Right? And
Amen,
doing the work that I need to do to see what it's bringing up in me, so that I'm not projecting negativity onto someone else, right? So it's beautiful to have witnessed you, to ask you the question, have then received your response, so that people can get clarity around. Some people don't understand, some people don't know. Now I understand that this person might just be doing a check-in. It's all good. It's all good.
Oh, thank you. Bless your heart, Loida, in more ways than one. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And so as we're merging to the end of our conversation, 30 minutes goes very quickly.
Lickety split.
I do between 30 minutes to 50, but I think we're good.
I think this is peachy key and jelly bean.
And we get to everybody gets to see your shine, your beautiful light. I love that you shared your Finding Dory quote that you love. Just keep swimming, because I say that sometimes. Just keep swimming, swimming, swimming.
What do? We swim.
Yes.
You have to flap your fins too.
And I love the thought of, like, if you lose your way, just keep swimming. Just keep swimming, right? Like, if in a moment you feel lost and you're looking around and you're like, I can't find it, just swim.
No matter what it is.
Yeah, and you will find your way eventually. Maybe it's not going to be right away, but it will be the right day, the right way for you.
Amen.
I want to thank you so much for being here. The one thing that I do ask the people I am having conversations with to share before we end is, if there was one message you can leave your audience, what like key? I mean, we just said just keep swimming, but do you have anything else?
I just really, and Loida, you live this. You and Nico live this. You walk the walk, you sing the song, and you boogie the dance. But you never know what someone is going through. And you shared this about your story with the lad in your community. And so never, and don't judge a book by its cover. And speaking from my bookworm self, always have been, always will be. And I'm in the process of penning my own book. So you and I will have to host our own book club, Loida. But just treat others the way you want to be treated. The golden rule. We can't ever forget about that.
Yes, I agree.
Thank you. I love you.
Oh, I love you.
Mwah.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Namaste. Home with my dog.
Namaste. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.